I like a comment that we got in here. Matt says, "I think we need to find out how big of a need second base is." And yeah, it's. I mean, once again, early. We're talking small sample size here, but Elvis Andrus is not going to be the hitter he was when he came over and went on an absolute tear that he went on in 2022. Kind of one of the only the shots in the arm that the White Sox got, aside from Eloy, all season. That's just not going to happen. Obviously, you think he's going to play serviceable defense. But finding out how big of a need second base is, yeah, because when Elvis came up in big situations, it just felt like this, you kind of almost chalked it up as an automatic out. If you could get on base via a walk or hit by pitch, that was a win in the book there. So I think that's something to keep an eye on there. And he says he'd like to see Romy at second base for that. So I think Romy's got to earn his way into the lineup there too. But it's a possibility there.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Johnny. Here, you also have Elvis Andrus, who's playing second base for the first time in his career. Wanted to sign here. It's sort of one series. I know that's the same excuse. We can go back on it, but he sort of is the dog in the lineup now, right? And everybody's going to find sort of the fall guy. I felt like it was Lurie Garcia all last year. Feels like an automatic out. I'll say this though, the way the White Sox played baseball all series here, Johnny, you can afford to have one guy in your lineup like that, one or two guys in your lineup like that, as long as they're playing quality defense and providing you something. I didn't see anything really on the defensive side outside of, minor miscues, but even Tim Anderson had one. This guy's a professional. I think he's going to be around here at second base, sort of come hell or high water, unless he's like, hitting 100 when it comes to May. And we can sit there and say, okay, now we have a problem. But again, this was, low risk, high reward signing. I think they're going to ride it out for a little while. I don't think that we have to go to, extremes at the moment to sort of figure that out. When you look at positional need, and Oscar Colas sort of really solidified that right field spot, earning this job, and has played with a great intensity so far. So when you look at this come June, July, I know Steve says they're going to fire Salad off and it's rebuild 3.0. I look at it from the other side. What are your two biggest needs right now? One might be second base. The other is probably stack that bullpen, or depending on the health of the starting core.
You're going to give people aneurysms just with, yeah, I know that with what we've seen, you're right in saying that, but it's funny just whenever the word bullpen's mentioned.
It's a hot topic. It's a red flag.
Resource allocation.
Yeah. Go get a reliever for, I don't want to take on the 3 years of Jake Diekman this season. I'd like to go out and get a high impact guy, like a Craig Kimbrell, right? And let's go down that experience again. But seriously, though, we've said it a million times here, Johnny. That was the right move at the time.
Right.
What else do the White Sox really have to go out and get right now? Health abiding, second base, and bullpen. Like everything else sort of feels in place.
Any injuries that arise will help determine that too. I think, because even if they're, but hopefully, if any, I mean, it's 162 game grind. There's going to be injuries. You can't say the White Sox are going to be healthy all year, top to bottom. That's not going to happen. But when you're talking about position players, it's if someone's dinged up, if someone's legs are starting to feel it, early on, where are those needs? That will be another factor that comes into play there. But you nailed it positionally there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just the 2-2 split with Houston that I'm feeling pretty good on this, but it seems to me like this is the most sort of set that positionally set that the White Sox have been throughout the entire rebuild into quote unquote competitive window era. You have a left fielder, you have a right fielder. Luis Robert is cemented into center field as long as he is healthy. Then you look around the infield. You've got Andrew Vaughn playing his natural position now, backed up by Gavin Sheets. You've got depth. You look at shortstop, that's Tim Anderson. And part of the reason that Elvis Andrus is on this team is he can go spell Tim Anderson, and you've got depth with Romy there to go slot into second base for a game. Yohan Moncada is sort of backed up by Jake Berger, who can come in and swing a hot bat. We saw him do that last year. Catcher, I would argue right now, and I love the start that Seppi Zavala's had. Obviously already leaving the yard, but he's defensively sort of sound. And then we talked about it in the season preview show, sort of my key. Yasmani Grandal is going to have to carry the load here. If that doesn't happen, that third sort of issue that I see, positionally at least, would be maybe going out and trying to grab a catcher at the trade deadline if you're in a competitive spot. But overall, you can't say that about any other season that we've come into. There were multiple holes. There were multiple question marks all over the diamond, and there was no backup plans to anything. I know the minor league depth ain't great, but shit, dude, like you can't
Yeah.
really look at this and poke a hole into like what happens if this goes down. Well, you can slot this guy here, and there's some more versatility.
There's some depth though. I think that, we talk about the legitimate like quality depth, and that's, something that Steve likes to harp on with the Dodgers, and he's right. He's right on that front because they do it well and they acquire guys that are able to step in and fill in effectively. And once again, we're talking very, very small sample size here, first series of the season. But with that, you don't know exactly what the outfield fill-ins will be. What we saw Romy in to start the opener against a lefty in there, and that was just because Colas is a lefty, Romy hits righty. That was the handedness matchup that was played. But you're going to have to see more from that. And are those guys actually quality depth? So the depth's not proven there, but there are names. There's names there.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can sort of ask for right now, right? Obviously, there's a plethora of opportunities to go out and get people over the past offseason that have already come and gone. But for right now, I like the way the team is played, and I think that they've got backup plans all over the place across the diamond. And that's why when I say bullpen, it's going to be a that's so White Sox thing, isn't it? Isn't it going to be that, oh my God, why are we going out and acquiring these two bullpen arms right here? But I just have no faith in sort of where we're at right now. And maybe it's just sort of has this exclamation point on it because Liam Hendricks is not there to be that ninth inning guy.